1 second. Hey. Welcome to Sunday Mindset. Sorry, I got to get Bobby to help me with these banners before I get started on these because, that's part of what we do here. There we go. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys have all had a beautiful week. I just came off of an incredible time at community camp. If you guys were not following my social media, community camp was a vibe. Holy moly, what a time. But welcome to Sunday Mindset. So much to go over today. Things that I had observed while at community camp and questions, things that I talked about with people while at camp came up. And that led me to a topic that I want to discuss today. And I think this will be super helpful for people because the beauty of what we just experienced at community camp, for those of you that aren't aware of what community camp is ultra exclusive week where people from the Sub-2 community, the AstroFlipping community, the Owners Club, which is a joint community Pace Morby and myself have created, converge on Kalispell, Montana, and we spend 4 or 5 days together just really connecting, getting to know each other, networking, masterminding, and figuring out best practices on how we can all elevate our businesses and ourselves. Now, what's really fun about it is that the people who come to community camp are the cream of the crop, right? These are the folks that are in the, the really high level Owners Club group, which Pace and I have put together. So there's a huge filtration mechanism, which actually filtered out people who wouldn't have been able to afford it, wouldn't have been able to be there. And so these are all like folks that are successful. They're making a bunch of money in their business, doing, deals steadily. So the connections in that during that week were just phenomenal. But what ends up happening at community camp is you get to see the commonalities that exist between people who are successful. And that was what I was super interested in learning about. As I was talking to different people throughout the week, I got some beautiful insights, and I'm going to share with you some of those. So today's talk is going to be incredibly powerful. I hope you have a notepad, piece of a paper and a pen to take some notes. I'm going to be going onto my iPad to share with you some concepts that I've written down previous to starting the live today. But before we get into it, we're going to do what we normally do, and that's start this off with a prayer. And the reason for that is I truly believe that anything and everything that we want or need in our life finds its way to us through source when we ask and take steps towards it. Again, if this makes you uncomfortable, just mute me for 30 seconds because I'm going to do this anyways. But if you'd like to join me, here we go. God, we love you so much, Lord. Thank you for today. Thank you for opening all our eyes and giving us breath, for giving us the minds to connect and communicate with each other, Lord. We're so grateful for that. God, we ask that you guide each of us to your purpose for our lives so that the steps we take are your steps, the words we speak, your words, the actions we take, your actions. God, we ask that you guide us to those individuals that will be of benefit to us, either through a financial gain or a lesson we need to learn. And we also ask that you deflect us from those individuals that would waste our time or bring us harm. Lord, for any of our family members here that are in need of any additional understanding of the concepts that we go over here, we just pray for perfect clarity in our minds. And for anyone suffering through any physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual pain, we just pray for perfect healing in our lives. And Lord, it is with humble hearts and in your heavenly name we pray. Amen. All right. Before I continue, do me a favor, folks, and go hit that like button on this video. I'm trying to grow this aspect of what we do here on my YouTube channel. And the best way for me to do that is for you guys to take a moment to just like this live stream. It takes you half a second. So go off and do that right now. If you have to log into your YouTube account to do that, or your Gmail or whatever it is, please just do it. Just think of all the time and energy and the work that I have to do previous to coming onto this and then sitting here with you guys for the hour to deliver the information. Is it not worth the exchange for you to just hit the like button? I haven't asked you guys to pay me for this. There is no Fee, I'm just sharing this information with you out of the reality that this is the things that I'm studying. These are the concepts and the tools that I use to become successful. And I want to share that with all of you because I want you to be successful. All you need to do is hit that like button. So just go ahead and do it. And also, the last thing I would ask is if you are watching this right now, please share this on your social media. Take a snapshot of this right now. Share it on your Instagram stories. I asked you guys to do this last week, and 2 of you did it. There was like 150 of you that showed up to this, and 2 of you took a picture and shared it on your social media. Brent Reynolds was one of them, and Nathan Harris, I believe, is the other. That's it. None of you guys are following instructions. If you guys want me to keep doing this, then do your part of the exchange. I need to grow this, and the best way for me to grow it is for people to find out about it. So snap a shot right now, share it on your Instagram stories because it's the right thing to do. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. So, yeah, awesome. Let me just get this going. Hey. There I am. All right. So when we think about you as a human being, right? There's the paradigm of you. What makes up Jamil Damji? What makes up a Nathan Harris? What makes up Katie Knotts? What makes up Howard Wildy? You know, what makes up you as a person is your character, right? Who you show up as, the personality or the things that you bring to the table on a day-to-day basis, right? Now, interestingly enough, or some of you may know this or some of you may not know this, but 95% of what makes up you or how you show up in the world is subconscious. 5% of how you show up in the world is conscious. Okay, so if you look at yourself as this triangle here, this pyramid, let me just get this thing off of my face for a moment. I don't know why it's sitting here. Oh, maybe I can't. All right. Anyways, doesn't matter. You guys will just have to deal with it. All right. So what makes up you, 95% of what makes up you is your subconscious mind. And the other 5% of what makes up you is your conscious mind, right? Now, if you really sit and think about that, if 95% of what you do in a day is subconscious and 5% of what you do in a day is conscious, that means that 95% of what you do, you're not even aware of. I just want you to understand that for a second, that 95% of what you do in a day, you are unaware of. Okay, it's in your subconscious mind. Now, that is incredibly scary, but it's super helpful, right? If any of you have ever gotten in your car and driven to work in the morning, and it's a drive that you know well, and so you kind of go into autopilot. A lot of you can describe or can attest to the fact that you may not even remember getting to work, right? You don't even remember what happened on the drive. Like you get into your car and you kind of zone out, and by the next thing you realize, you're at your office and you're walking in the front door, and everything that happened in between, you can't even remember it going on. Right? How many of you have ever experienced that? Just let me know that in the chat. But I'm sure almost all of you, all 75, 80 of you that are watching right now have experienced this. It's a reality of all of us, right? And myself included. 95% of what's going on with me is subconscious. I'm not immune to this, okay? This is not, this is all people, all right? So if 95% of what's going on with me is subconscious, then I know that is making up my character. It's making up how I'm showing up in the world. And if I take that one step further, I can say that my identity, who I am, right? What my identity is, those belief structures, those things that I believe about myself to be true, or those things that I believe about the world to be true, or those things that I believe, my paradigms in the world that make up my identity are subconsciously programmed. Okay, so this is going to get a little heady, but I need you to understand this. If your identity is subconscious and it's creating the thoughts that are driving your emotions, that are driving your actions, that are then making up your habits. And those habits stacked together are making up your character. And that character is then creating your destiny. Okay, let me say that again. All right. If your identity is 95% subconscious, and those subconscious thoughts are then making up are subconscious, and that subconscious accumulation of ideas is creating your identity. And that identity is then stimulating thoughts in your mind. And those thoughts are then creating emotions, which is chemistry, right? We get chemicals like cortisol and dopamine and adrenaline and all these fun neurotransmitters that we feel in our body. And those emotions or that chemistry is then driving our actions. And then those actions, as we do more and more of them, are making habits. And then those habits, as we stack them on top of each other, create a character. And then that character is making our destiny. Okay, which tells us that our destiny, or whatever is controlling our destiny, is asleep behind the wheel. Whatever is controlling our destiny is asleep behind the wheel. Now, if that doesn't scare the crap out of you, it should. It should absolutely scare the crap out of you, because you've got no chance. If you're asleep behind the wheel, how do you fix it? How do you make what is behind the wheel optimized to a level that it gets you to the successful peak that you want in your life, right? The money, the relationship, friends, connections, all the good things that you want out of your day, out of your life, your destiny, right? How can you shape that? How can you have any control over that if 95% of what makes it up, you're not even there for? Right? All right, let's keep it going. Yes, so what you're destined to become is an unconscious process. And if that's not scary, it's scary to me, okay? That's why I got this face here. Because it is damn scary. All right, it is. It's like, oh, well, how am I supposed to win? How am I supposed to get anywhere? How am I supposed to fix this situation if I'm asleep? I'm not even there for it, right? So let's just use an example of what's going on in our world as real estate professionals, right? Wholesalers, creative finance people, whatever that is. So you're here, or you follow Jamil, or you follow me because maybe you wanted to make some more money, right? You wanted to make some more money, so you started following Jamil, or maybe you wanted to make some more money and you started following Pace, and then you learned about me from Pace, or whatever that was, whatever the mechanism. Maybe you saw one of my silly ads on the internet. Maybe you got shown one of my YouTube videos as a recommended video, whatever that was. Something to do with wanting to make more money is probably how you got here. Right? That's how it typically happens for a lot of people that find me. All right. Now, you know that I'm a master. One of my crafts is wholesaling real estate, right? That's how I've become rich. The wealth that I have in my life came from me being able to find really undervalued opportunities in real estate and then match those opportunities with investors who then pay me a fee to find them for them, right? So that's how I've become a multimillionaire, is wholesaling. And you're like, okay, I want to be a multimillionaire like Jamil. And so I'm going to listen to what this idiot is telling me about wholesaling real estate because he seems to know what he's talking about and he has money and I want that money. Okay. And we know that technically I can teach you what to do. Okay. You know that I can teach you what to do when it comes to real estate and making money. Okay. All right. I can teach you the technicals, agent outreach, how to do direct to seller, how to do creative financing, how to comp, whatever that is. The technicals are not the problem. And so many of you are getting stuck thinking that the technicals are the problem, but they're not. The technicals are not the problem. Instinctively, after you've watched a dozen or so of my videos, most of you understand the technicals. If you're in the AstroFlipping community, you're in the sub-2 community, whatever, you've got people available to you to help you with the technicals all day, right? I do a Tuesday 5-6 hour coaching call with my Astro community. I do a coaching call right after this call on Sundays with my Astro community. I help them with the technicals, so the technicals are not the problem. So what's the problem? Well, you sit down to work, and within 10 minutes, what's happening? You're scrolling on your phone, right? Within 10 minutes of sitting down to make some phone calls, to talk to some agents, within 10 minutes of sitting down to comp some properties, within 10 minutes of sitting down to learn about the mechanics of an offer, you start scrolling on your phone and you start looking at Instagram. All right. Or you go to YouTube and you're like, okay, hold on. I want to do agent outreach, but I need to find out some more about this. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to start watching more content. Or maybe you're sitting down in your office and you're like, God damn, my office is dirty right now. I should clean my office. Oh, hey, wait. Maybe I should see what these other guys are doing. Let's go see what Pace is doing on Instagram. I'm going to go to my Instagram right now and see what Pace is doing right now. That's going to help me do more deals. I'm going to go see what Jamil's doing because that's going to help me do more deals. Or let me go watch Nathan Harris on Facebook right now because that's going to help me do more deals. Right? Let me go do some stuff to consume more content to distract me. Because I like being asleep. I like a baby. I want to be a baby with a soother in its mouth. I want to be sucking on my soother. I want to be sucking my thumb. That's exactly what it feels like to me, or what it looks like to me when I see people doing that. It's like mental masturbation. Your day is gone. Your day is gone. Your day is gone scrolling on the phone. Your day is gone watching YouTube. Your day is gone organizing your office. Your day is gone diving into social media. Your day is flipping gone. It wasn't technicals that got you there. The technicals didn't ruin your day, right? It didn't. Knowing what list to pull and how to skip trace it didn't ruin your day. Knowing that real estate agents are a great way to find off-market opportunities, or going onto the MLS and looking for great deals is a great way to do wholesale deals. You know that already. That didn't ruin your day. What happened was you did these things. You scrolled on your phone, you watched YouTube, you organized your office, you dove into social media, and you lost your day. Okay? Now, why is that? Because you do a little bit of work, right? You do a little bit of work and you get some resistance. You get some resistance. Or let's just say, for instance, you got a full-time job as a personal trainer, and you're doing that. It's set 6 hours of the day, and then you got a couple hours a day to do some real estate. So you go and you get, you talk to one or two people, and you go get some crappy deal that some wholesaler didn't even comp, didn't even see if it was a great deal. Okay. And you go and you say, I'm going to JV this really bad deal that I haven't even determined whether or not it's a good deal or not. And you send it out to some buyers, and all your buyers respond to you saying that you're crazy, and they unsubscribe from your list. And then you're mad. You're mad because this isn't working for me. I'm not wholesaler's not working for me. When's this going to start working? I mean, come on. I've been doing this for a year now already. How come this isn't working for me? Because what's going on at the subconscious level hasn't been addressed yet. It hasn't. It hasn't been addressed yet. So what's the challenge, right? What's going on here? Well, you get the challenge, right? You have the situation. You've got the agent that I talked to said, I don't work with investors. Stop calling me. You talk to a real estate agent and they want over ARV for the deal. You talk to a homeowner and they want ARV for their property. And you just make this decision in your head like, oh, none of this works. Right? You get that challenge. You feel challenged, right? Whatever the challenge is. And that challenge is now creating some thoughts, right? Because of chemistry and your subconscious mind, right? So if you're aware in this challenge, only 5% of the time, you've got a 5% chance of getting this situation figured out. That's it. 5% chance. 95% of the time, you're going to be sleeping in the program. Now, because we can't really build a business on only having control 5% of the time. I mean, let's be honest, guys. If I told you that you're going to be able to build a consistent business on being able to be aware 5% of your day, You would say, Jamil, that's not possible, right? I can promise you that there's no chance that you will build a consistent business by hoping and praying that the 5% of the day that you're conscious, that you're so laser focused and so damn good that it's going to make you a multimillionaire. There's just no way. There's no way. So where do we have to do the work? Where do we got to do the work? Right here. We got to do the work on the program. We have to do the work on the program. We understand that if the program is the problem, if the program is faulty, it's going to create a faulty identity. And if that faulty identity is then creating faulty thoughts, and those faulty thoughts are then creating faulty chemistry or negative chemistry, and then that negative chemistry is then creating actions, and then those actions compound of each other are creating negative habits, and then those habits are making a negative character, we see what ends up happening. We now have the formula on what makes a failure. That's what it is. We now have a formula on what makes the failure. Simple. We allowed the 95% of what's going on in our day to be faulty. That faultiness created an incomplete character, an untrue character of who we are, an untrue identity. That identity, because it's underlying, tells us these specific thoughts. Like when I hit resistance, when an agent tells me I don't work with investors, the thought process for the person who's running a faulty program is going to be, every time I talk to real estate agents, they don't want to work with me, or they want too much money, or they hate investors. This doesn't work. So that's the thought process of the faulty program. Or every time I try to value a home, I'm so far away from what the seller or the agent wants that there's just no truth to this wholesale real estate business being real. Or every time I make a phone call to a title company, I'm told that the market is saturated where I'm working and I might as well just quit. Okay, so what we find out is the program is creating untrue thoughts. Those untrue thoughts are then stimulating untrue or negative emotions. Those negative emotions compounded on top of each other are making negative actions, like not doing anything, like just sitting down, scrolling social media, watching pornography, not doing any work, going down a rabbit hole on e-com when you should be comping properties. You understand where this is going. And all of us have understood or done this before. I've done it too. I get an idea that I want to do something, and then all of a sudden something goes on, and I'm like, out of nowhere, I'm scrolling on Instagram. I'm like, how the heck did I get from wanting to learn about tax liens? How did I get from learning about tax liens to this girl's butt on IG? How did it happen? I don't even remember the mechanism that got me there. I'm just being real, right? What was the mechanism that gets me from wanting to learn about tax liens to now watching somebody do squats on Instagram? How the hell does that happen? And how can I change that? How can I stop that from continuing? Got to change the program, right? We got to change the program. That's it. We got to change the program. Now, here's the beautiful thing, right? Here's how we do it. Okay? Because the reality is we have to be relentlessly honest with ourselves. Okay? So we're going to ask ourselves some questions, and then we have to answer these questions with truth. So if you ask yourself, why do what are you doing? Well, I want to be a wholesaler. Well, let's find out what's underneath wanting to be a wholesaler. Okay, what's underneath wanting to be a wholesaler? Well, I want to earn more money. Okay, why do you want to earn more money? Well, I want to support my family. Well, why do you want to support your family? Because I love doing it. I want to connect with my family. I want to feel happiness. I want to feel worthy, right? These are the underlying key motives that are driving the behavior. Okay, can we all see this? Can we all understand that? We want to keep asking ourselves why. Why do you want to be a real estate investor? Why? I want to earn more money. Why do you want to earn more money? I want to support my family. Why do you want to support your family? Because I love them. I want to connect to them. I want to be happy. I want to feel worthy in my life. These are the key things that are driving me to do the things that I'm going to do all day. Okay, so we have to keep asking why. We got to keep peeling back the layer. We got to keep peeling back the layer. Okay, so we're all on the same page now, okay? So we keep peeling back the layer until we get to the core of our drive, okay? And at the end of the day, I think all of us can agree that we just want to be happy, right? All of us just want to be happy. That's what we want. Okay, so if we know that we want to be happy, we know that that's our key motivator, then I've got to now look at the task that I have to do. So let's just say the task as a wholesaler means that I've got to talk to 50 real estate agents a day. Or I got to talk to 50 expired listings a day. Or I got to comp 50 properties a day and talk for JVs with wholesalers, okay? Whatever that is, right? I know my task. I know the thing that I got to do. But as I get to any obstacle in that task, that's when the problem occurs, right? So I need to address the subconscious program. Because here's the beautiful thing. If I'm unconscious, if I'm in my subconscious program for 95% of the day, then rather than worrying about changing the 5%, let me reprogram the 95. Let me reprogram that identity aspect. So here is the mechanism on doing it, okay? Here's how we reprogram the mind. First, we have to understand the key emotion that we're trying to feel, okay? The key emotion that we're trying to feel is happy. And I know that when I'm doing my task of calling 50 real estate agents a day, I have to get myself to start to see how calling 50 agents a day is going to get me to happy. It can't be such where I'm looking at it like, if I talk to 50 agents, talking to 50 agents means that I'm going to make more money, which is going to lead to more connection with my family, which is then going to lead to more intimacy, which then will lead to me being happy. No, I need to skip all these steps. I need to skip the emotional response that making these 50 agents calls a day is going to lead me to happiness. That's how we get there. We have to circumvent this entire process here, because this is where we go wrong. This is where the resistance happens. right? Because if it's like, I'm going to talk to 50 agents so I can make more money, then as soon as an agent tells me that they don't want to work with me, I go back into negative chemistry. If I'm talking to 50 agents and one tells me I don't work with investors, I go back to negative chemistry. And when I go back to negative chemistry, what does that lead to? It leads to me scrolling on the phone. It leads to me organizing my office. It leads to me doing all the things that I know aren't going to get me to the goal. Understood? So the hack is to have the actual job, the thing that we know we have to do to get us to the underlying key motivator. That's it. Now, easier said than done, because some of you might be saying to yourself, well, how do I make myself feel happy from talking to 50 real estate agents? How do I do it? Right? How do I make myself feel happy talking to 50 agents? Well, the first thing you can do is remove the entitlement. We have a massive entitlement issue with respect to the entrepreneurial class, right? We think we do a little bit of work. We're entitled to money. We're entitled to a win. We're entitled to the deal. We're entitled to the girl. We're entitled to the house. We're entitled to, the fame. We're entitled to all of it. The entitlement is what's effing all of us up. You think because you talked to 2 wholesalers today and you put out one crappy deal to your buyers list and nobody wanted it, right? Nobody wanted that deal. Now, all of a sudden, you're back into this. Well, how is it that I've been doing this for 6 months already, or how I've been doing this for 9 months already, and I still don't have a deal? Why is it that you think that through doing that much work, you're entitled to any benefit? How? How is it? How is it by doing this much, you expect that much in return? It's disproportionate. And it's not real. It's completely false. We got to remove the entitlement. Number 2. We got to detach from the result. Nathan put it in the chat just now. Chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chop wood, carry water. Number 3. You got to enjoy what you're doing. Look, bottom line is, if you don't like talking to people, if you don't like talking to real estate agents, if you don't like talking to wholesalers, if you don't like looking at properties, stop. Stop. This isn't for you. It's not for you. Go do something different. Go figure out another thing. Stop. If you don't enjoy it, stop. For real. I mean it. I'm giving you permission. Go. Leave. Stop doing it. Because when you enjoy what we do, then you're not going to be attached to the result. You're not going to be entitled to thinking that doing a little bit of work entitles you to money, that a little bit of work entitles you to the win, that a little bit of work entitles you to the deal, that a little bit of work entitles you to the relationship, that a little bit of work entitles you to the mansion, that a little bit of work entitles you to the recognition. No, you would never have that feeling, because you would be in love with the game. You would enjoy being a beginner. You would enjoy the learning curve, the learning process of what's going on. For real. You've got to enjoy it. What's very interesting, right? I have reprogrammed myself on a default way where if and you'll see this. Bobby will post this every once in a while on my stories. My subconscious mind, when I start going into my like subconscious program, you want to know what I do? I start scrolling through Zillow. I'm not kidding you. I start looking at houses on Zillow. I start seeing what new listings came out. That's where my subconscious mind goes. I have changed my program. I've changed the 95% of what I do unconsciously to where my unconscious behaviors further my desires. My unconscious behavior furthers my desires. Thank you, Bobby, for taking that off. I had no idea how to do it. And why is it that my unconscious behavior is going and scrolling through Zillow? Because I enjoy it. Because I like doing it. So, what's a behavior? What can we do? What can we do today? Right? What's something that you can do today to start finding joy in the process, finding joy in the work? Well, I saw that at community camp, right? But and this is how this all comes full circle. How to enjoy it. Start loving on the people, right? Look at the community that we get to be a part of. Look at all these incredible human beings, right? People like Nathan Harris, Sharon Smith, Matthew Ennis, Cameroon, Craig Kiefer. There's all these beautiful human beings that we can be friends with, that we get to talk to, that we get to really get to see what they're about as human beings. Right? The human beings, the connection, the community that we get to be a part of helps us find joy in the job. Right? Number 2, associate positive emotions. All right. Now, one way to do that, one way to associate positive emotions with the work is visualization. All right. So we're going to do an exercise right now. I wouldn't make this a non exercise or non I don't even know what the word is. Where we do something. Okay, I want us to do something, and the thing that I want us to do is a visualization exercise with each other. So whether you are an AstroFlipping, whether you're in Sub2, creative finance, whether you're doing, TTP, direct to seller, calling homeowners during dinner, whatever that is that you do, whether you're sending out direct mail because you're a dinosaur, whatever that is, right? Pay per click, you're a monster, whatever those things are that you're doing. I want you, and I'm just joking about that stuff. What I want you to do is in your seat right now, right? I just want you to get centered in your seat. Right? Just put both feet flat on the ground. And I just want you to take a deep breath with me, okay? Right? Take a deep breath. And I want you to do another one with me, okay? Deep breath in. Out. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Now, I want you to visualize, think about your key task that you have to do in the day in your business, right? So if you're an Astro Flipper and you're doing direct to agent, let's visualize making an agent call. Now, in that visualization of making an agent call, I want you to visualize that connection. I want you to visualize that conversation, and I want you to bring to yourself a positive emotion. I want you to start having and creating the association between calling real estate agents and a positive emotion, right? So just in your mind's eye right now, I want you to be thinking about and visualizing, making an agent phone call, and I want you to create a corresponding emotion of happiness with it. Now, some of you might need to think about the farther effect, right? So maybe you need to attach making money. Maybe you need to attach the mansion. Maybe you need to attach the car, right? Maybe if you're Matthew Ennis, you need to attach tight, sweaty spandex. Whatever it is that makes you smile, you got to bring in that association that makes you feel good, all right? So if now calling a real estate agent means that I have that positive feeling of having a mansion, let that be it. Okay, just get granular in your mind's eye with it. Just take a moment and breathe into that. You're making a phone call, and it's leading you to that key motivating emotion. Let that chemistry permeate your entire body, right? As your brain sees that visual of you on the phone, it's now associating the emotional state of happiness. We're skipping all those steps. Calling agents and happiness. They're attached. They're the same thing. There is no split between making a phone call to a real estate agent and feeling happy. Now that's it. If you do this daily, 3, 4, 5 times a day for a couple of minutes at a time, what will end up happening is you'll start to actually change that subconscious program, because we know that the 5% that we're aware, that we're awake, is going to be way too difficult for us to manage. We need to adjust the operating system. Okay, the operating system is where the deep work happens. And by creating the positive association between the work that we have to do and the emotional state that we're trying to accomplish, by visualizing that equaling that, is how you are going to bridge the gap. Make sense? All right. I want to bring some of you up here for questions if you have any. So I'm going to be putting a link in the comment section here. Can hop on, and I might not get to a lot of them today because we don't have a bunch of time here. Only got 15 minutes, but if you would like to hop on and ask anything about this subject, please do. Putting that in the chat. Just have a camera on so that we can see you. Make sure you're wearing clothes if you do decide to come on backstage. And if you do have a question, come on up. Now, guys, while we're waiting for people to come through, I want you to realize, right, that throughout your process of doing this, it is going to take some work. You're going to get knocked off. You're going to maybe feel a little bit silly. You're going to be like, how is it that, calling a pre-foreclosure list, how is it that I'm going to create that stimulus and the emotional response connection, right? How am I supposed to do that when I feel silly visualizing it? Well, you've got to do it in repetition. You have to keep bringing and making that connection. The more you make that connection, you'll start to create neural pathways. Those neural pathways will start to get, plentiful, and they'll become stronger and stronger and stronger. And the stronger those neural pathways are, the faster that connection is. And what will end up happening is you will instinctively start to get that emotional response when you start doing that piece of work. That's why you find these pro athletes who are, boxers or whatever, right? Or even Matthew in the chat, our wrestler. He's happy when he's in the ring. Why would he be happy when he's in the ring? He's getting suplexed. He's, grappling another dude in his underpants, right? How does that make him happy? Because he understands, he associates what is going to happen for him in his life. He associates winning the WWE championship. He associates winning the tag team champion. He associates the exhilaration, that incredible high that he would feel being a champion, right, with grappling a sweaty man in practice. Right? He says he's in flow state when he's in the ring. 100%. He's got that association down. It's right there. He doesn't need to he doesn't have to imagine how this practice is going to actually benefit him in his life. He knows in his program that the practice is going to benefit him in his life, because it's what he's meant to do. He's created that in his subconscious program. If Matthew did that for himself in wholesaling, he would have the exact same emotional state. How you doing, Howard?
Doing good, Jamil. How are you?
Let me get my headphones on. What's up, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Hope all is well. I just had a quick question now, because I think that I work really hard, but when I try and take a break, like today Sunday, I worked for a couple hours cold calling. But when I feel in my mind, when I try and go take a break, maybe go take a swim, read a book, I tend to beat myself up and think you should maybe keep working. And I just want to see your opinion on that and how I could work on it.
So you're starting to create like a negative feeling when you stop working.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that's it tells me that your natural program is gearing you towards taking action and continuing to work. And so the fact that you have this little bit of resistance from taking a break, I don't necessarily think it's a terrible thing. Okay. I think what you've done is you've actually trained yourself to make yourself feel good when you're working, and to make yourself kind of not enjoy the other parts of it, right? And so, yeah, is it a perfect situation? Not likely, but is it working for you? Sounds like it is.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would say that there's absolutely nothing inherently wrong with that. Do you when you are taking your break, are you doing stuff that you like? Like, do you try to pepper in things that are enjoyable for you during those breaks, or are you just doing like monotonous maintenance stuff? Because if it's like, like if you're one of those guys who eats because it's fuel versus like I eat because I like the taste of it, then maybe you could start implementing things that are enjoyable during break time to help you break away from that negative sensation or that negative feeling. But the fact that you feel good working and that your body tells you when you take a break that, hey, you should be working, I don't think that's a problem. I think that's pretty dope. I'm like that myself, and it's taken me very, very, very far in life.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jamil. I appreciate you saying that.
Of course. I think it's great, and you should be grateful for your natural tendency to be that way. I mean, you're hardwired in a good way, dude.
Yes, sir. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jamil. Appreciate it.
Of course. Hey.
Hello.
Nathan Harris. What's up, dog?
I think I spotted an alligator for the first time in my life today.
Wow. What? Hold on a second. It's right behind you, but it's pink.
I've been having this thing in my live streams, and I'll just randomly pet it during the day.
That's so great.
Love you, brother.
Love you back.
Hey, Jamil. So, in this topic, one thing that I see quite often with new people is their vocabulary and, you know, the way that they phrase things to themselves, like saying like, if this happens, or I hope this will happen, or, you know, maybe it's like lack of certainty. And I know Tony Robbins once said transformational vocabulary. So like the way that we say things can have a dramatic effect on how we feel. But I wanted to ask you if you had any input on the words that we speak and how that affects our emotional state.
Well, sound is vibration. At the end of the day, sound is vibration. And in fact, if you, look even in the beginning of the Bible, right? First there was the word, right? The word is powerful. It is powerful. In some cultures and in some traditions, the entirety of physical reality is a sound, right? We are a sound. We are like an idea of the creator, a sound vibration of the creator. Now, if you think of that, then that tells us, and you relate that back to us, because the micro is always a reflection of the macro, right? Then for us, it's the same level of power. The words we speak create a vibrational state within us and all around us. And that vibrational state carries. That's why words can be so powerful, right? That's why you can say something to another person and it can affect them in such a deep, resonant way, because words are vibrating and it vibrates us to our core. So I 100% agree with and also believe that what we say absolutely affects how we show up and the results that we're achieving in the world. If we are negatively speaking to ourselves, if we're deprecating, if we use words that disempower ourselves, then we are laying the foundation of that vibrational state.
To follow that up and to dive into a specific situation, the other day I witnessed a newer person, and they were saying if a lot because they didn't believe that it would happen. And it seemed to me like the reason why they were saying if is because they didn't want to lie. They didn't want to speak with certainty because they didn't want to be wrong. When you come across people that are in that situation, how do you convince them to use transformational vocabulary when they feel as if it goes against their morals of them speaking something that doesn't exist yet, or maybe the root cause is they just don't believe in themselves?
Well, it's not a lie to believe that you'll be successful. Right? There's nothing untrue about that. Right? Mm-hmm. There's absolutely nothing untrue about it. It's either you believe it or you don't believe it. Right? So where the lie exists is not in the fact that they may be successful. Where the lie exists is in their belief of them being successful. So I think what the real question was is that they were lying about themselves, about believing that they had a chance to be successful. And because they actually didn't believe it, they didn't want to lie that they believed it. And so they're saying if. Right. And so I don't necessarily think it's about that. I think it's about still them not believing in themselves or not believing that they're going to be able to be successful at this. And, unfortunately, the brain requires evidence sometimes in order for us. And in fact, not sometimes, most times, all the time, in order for us to believe something. Right. Like we require evidence. That's why proof of concept in a first deal is so important for so many people, because once you get that first deal done, you've got that proof of concept. You're like, I get it. This is real. It works. Let's go. And then you see people go after that, right? Because
I think it's real for them, right?
It's real for them, yeah, because they can see you do it. They can see me do it. They can see Pace do it. They can see, all these other people do it. But they're like, yeah, fine. But all of you guys might be special. I'm not special. All of you are good. I'm not good. All of you are worthy. I'm not worthy. And so that's how we get to that spot. And the fact is that when we do get that evidence then reinforces the idea of what we're saying to be true. So how we bridge that, Nathan, is small bits of evidence. We can't maybe get to the wire in the bank right now, but we can get to hey, I got this ARV right. right? Or, hey, I had this successful conversation with this agent and it was a really good connection and we enjoyed each other's time when we spoke for 10 minutes. Or, hey, I made a solid connection with that Nathan Harris, that wholesaler dude working out of Florida, solid guy, right? That relationship felt really good, right? There's evidence there, and you start to feel that evidence, and you're like, man, now I see this evidence. As I compound these things happening over and over and over and over again, that's when you get to that port. That's where you get to that part where it's like, yeah, this is true for me. Mm-hmm. It's like when you are, for people that are on a spiritual path, right? Having one of those moments of, they call it samadhi in some cultures, they call it Sartori in other cultures, in Zen Buddhism, it's that sense of oneness, that experience of divinity. It's not, you're not able to really articulate that to another person of what that feels like unless you've actually experienced it and felt it. Right? And there's a huge difference between knowledge of something and experience of something. So the people that you talk to that have knowledge of wholesaling being real versus the people that you talk to who have experience of wholesaling being real, their belief structure is going to be entirely different. And how they move and how they operate is going to be very, 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 very different from each other. And so this person here who hasn't yet experienced it, they have to hold on to the things that they have experienced, that they have been able to accomplish. And that's where the win is.
Gotcha. So my takeaway is the best way to help these people would be to leverage previous wins that they have, almost like the cookie in the cookie jar. Whenever they accomplish a small thing, put that in their cookie jar. And next time they don't use the right vocabulary or speak in terms of if rather than when, we say, hey, well, look, you accomplished this. And if you just keep adding these cookies to your cookie jar, you keep having these wins, it's inevitable.
That's it, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate
Love
you.
you. Back at you. Tracy. Hey, we can't hear you.
There we go.
How you doing?
My first time on a Zoom.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, thanks. You too. I love the cookie jar analogy. That's awesome.
Right?
Right? I love it. I was just going to touch really quick on what you said about neural pathways. I'm a total science geek. I love it. When I learned about neural pathways, really helped me have more patience with myself. So I was just thinking to share with folks as it takes so long to make shifts, and we're doing it and we're doing the work. We're going, God, why isn't this working? I just love reminding people to look into neural pathways, do a Google search. It's like it's a real thing. We're truly building a new road. I think of it as like a roadmap. We're literally building a new road in our brain, and we're trying to replace it with a really deep road. So you've got the car on the matchbox track. That's how I've always thought of it. And it goes around, it does its thing. And then you try to add a new track to it. And it's hard to get it to go on that new track sometimes. So, when you just get to that point where you're ready to give up, just remember you're doing it. You're just digging, just keep digging a little deeper, man.
I mean, think about it this way, right? We were just in Montana. Mm-hmm. And we went on a hike. Right. And there was a path. Right. And so anytime you're on a hike, there's a path, and you can see these paths, and these are steps that other people have taken, and we can understand this pathway. But the moment you want to veer off and start your own, there's so much resistance.
That's a great point. Right.
Right. They were like, no, the grass is too big. There could be insects there. What if there's a snake in that grass? I can't take that. I can't veer off this path.
Right.
This is dangerous. I've got to stay on this path where everybody else has walked. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the path where everybody has walked leads you to your 9-to-5 job that is sucking your soul out of your life, and you're completely miserable. Totally. Right. And so, yeah, sure, there's a path here, but it's not leading you anywhere you want to go.
Right.
Right. So when we know that, and we can see, okay, well, what's the alternative? Right? The alternative is this path right now that we have right now isn't really getting us to the place we want to go. So we have no choice but to form this other neural pathway, and you take this other path. And you're 100% right. It starts off by a new thought, right? A new thought is the first person who walks that new hiking path. And then when you do it over again, you do it again and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And now all of a sudden you've got a clearing. And that clearing is going to create an entirely new pathway over time. And as we do that over time, it becomes a new path. And as you get, like you said, deeper and deeper roads, it's going to lead to a new destination. It always will. Because if we're going down this path leads us to our job, but this path might lead us to $1 million. Yeah. This path might lead us to feeling fulfilled in our life. This path might lead us to our life's purpose. And the one that we're on right now, if you're walking it every single day and it's getting you to a destination that you don't enjoy, you have to take another path.
Right. Yeah, it's not going anywhere different. It's going to the same damn place every time.
Every day.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted that really helped shift it for me. So I just thought I'd share that.
I appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
I love you, sister.
Thank you. I love you too. You're the best.
Family, what a Sunday. You guys came out in full force again. Thank you guys so much for showing up for these. Do me again a favor, if you would, since the majority of you are here. Hit that like button. It's super helpful for me. I'm trying to grow this. I want to be able to reach people so that we can all do better with ourselves. So we can all have the life that we want. Because I know that where it's happening, right? We talked about it earlier today, that where this is all happening, where this is all going down right now is in the subconscious. It's in the 95%, right? And what we want to do, what we really want to do is we want to get ourselves to be able to fix that part. We want to affect that part so that we can change our lives. So like this video so that more people can see it. Share this on your social media. Take a snapshot and share it on your social media. I hope more than 2 of you do it this week, because I was like, I thought at least 20 of you would have done it last week, right? But 2 of you did it. So share it on your social media, and I'll be back again next Sunday with another topic. Leave me a comment in the comment section of things that you want me to research, because I'll go do some research and I'll bring you back the best information that I can find on it. I hope you guys all have a beautiful rest of your week. You guys are divine. Get out there and act like it. Take care.